We have 13 BMCC scholars here tonight. They are bright and ambitious, and we're very proud of their achievements. You'll be amazed by their inspiring stories and their determination to overcome challenges and move forward in their lives. Their success is our success, and we're very proud of them. I would like to thank our outstanding honorees, our guest MC, and our special and very generous friends who are here this evening. We're grateful for your support of the college and proud to recognize you as we display your names on our monitors. Tonight, though, it's all about our students. I would like to introduce you to three of them: Alex Moreno, Shannon Kidd, and Claudia Charles, and ask them to speak briefly about themselves, their background, and their aspirations. It's really an honor to be a president of a community college in today's society when all the focus has now changed and people are realizing the important work that takes place, the workforce of America, the leadership of tomorrow in our community colleges. And you'll hear that this evening as our students will address you. Alex?
Joshua, Benjamin, time to wake up. I made one of your favorite breakfasts. After I finally managed to get the boys out of bed, we had breakfast together and then took off to Prospect Park. Joshua is 4 and still in love with his stroller, and Benjamin is 6, and he was sure he would be a soccer player, a doctor, a police officer, many different kind of things. Passerby often would say, "Beautiful children, nice boys." Often I would just smile. "You must be a proud father," others would say. I was not Joshua and Benjamin's father. I was the babysitter, and they were my teachers. My life was far different from Joshua and Benjamin's. I'm Alex Moreno, and I was born and raised in a little village in Italy, Lusignano. My brother Salvatore is 8 years older than me. My mother Elvira is 60, and she recently wrote to me saying that she's very happy because she doesn't have to clean houses anymore, finally. She cleans hotel rooms now. My father Giuseppe has been working as a receptionist for 40 years. There is a long generation of Guarinos in the town of Lusignano, and they've never been on an airplane. By the age of 10, I knew I loved my hometown, but I felt it was too small for my curious nature, too limiting for my inquisitiveness, and too modest for the life I wanted to explore. So during my last year of high school, I started working in a cafe, making $4 an hour. I saved the money in a little piggy bank, and I hid it so nobody could see it. I climbed on top of the chair, then on top of the counter, moved the water glasses out of the way, and hid the piggy bank right behind them so nobody could see it. And every time I got paid, I followed the same routine. Even though I knew how much was there, I counted every single time I added more. It was fulfilling. One night, I climbed on the chair, then on top of the counter, moved the water glasses out of the way, and picked up the piggy bank. "Mama, Papa, the piggy bank, the money's gone." That's where I learned about the extent of my brother's problem. He had stolen my money to support his drug habit. In my small town, my brother had fallen prey to drug addiction, unheard of years in the town of Lusignano, and I became one of his victims. Determined to get away, for yet another reason, I started working 80 hours a week. I wanted to learn English and explore the world around me, but even more so, I wanted to explore the world inside of me. By the end of the summer, I finally saved enough money to be the first one in my family to ever be on an airplane. My family was in shock when I told them that I was going to Australia. After spending some time in Australia, I went back to my own town. But there was nobody I could practice the English I learned in Australia, and I felt like the world was closing in on me. by prying it open with the internet, looking for possibilities to learn and explore. And that there was the opportunity to be an au pair in the United States. And I thought about how those roles were traditionally for women, but I watched my father being one of the best papa. So surely I could perform one of those non-traditional roles that Americans often talk about. So here I found myself on a plane again. Destination, Brooklyn, New York City. And that's what I learned. I took care of Joshua and Benjamin as they were teaching me English. The children are some of the best teachers of English. They keep it simple. And even though I know that sometimes they weren't nice to me, that it happens. The little knowledge I had of English saved me. So the relationship worked. After being in the US for a while, I applied to BMCC to study business administration. BMCC understands what it means for students like Alex Moreno to be challenged, to explore the world around him and the world inside of him. It was at BMCC that I met Professor Moreno, an English professor who kept my attention as I rewrote my English paper 1,000 times because I wanted to be perfect, and so did he. And it was also at BMCC that I met Professor Zukic, a speech professor who nominated me team leader. How could a student whose first language is not English be the team leader in speech class? But teacher knows best. As you can see, I'm not afraid of making mistakes and speaking up anymore. After my first semester at BMCC, I was on track to graduate in 2 years, but my funds were low. As you all know, New York City is expensive. And sometimes it's very hard for students like me to save the money in a little piggy bank. In fact, sometimes we don't even have the money to purchase one. So I applied for the R2 scholarship that you support. I was very happy to receive it. In turn, I get back to my community by serving as a peer mentor, volunteering at Meals on Wheels, and speaking at new students' orientations. BMCC encourages students to explore the world around them. This past summer, BMCC offered courses in China, India, Spain, France, Italy, with our own faculty teaching them. I chose to study in China with my classmates. And I loved the experience. I wanted to stay much longer than the scheduled 5 weeks. I wanted to be immersed in the language. But I struggled with the idea and thought it would be too expensive. But I put into practice what I learned about budgeting in my business class. I concluded it would be cheaper to study for a semester in China than live in New York City. So, thanks to Ms. Deborah Stengel, the director of study abroad program at BMCC, and the scholarship I received from you, I was able to continue studying in China last fall. And now that I'm back in the US, I'm fortunate to be enrolled in a college with such diversity that I can continue to practice the language with my peers who are fluent in Mandarin. Now I understand when the college says, start here, go anywhere. This past Friday, I was proud to serve as the valedictorian for the class of 2016. I will carry this BMCC pride with me when I enroll at Columbia University this fall. I started learning from children, Joshua and Benjamin, and wound up in the hands of world-class professors who have encouraged, motivated, and propelled me to levels I didn't know envision. And as for my brother, Salvatore, who took from me when I was younger, he too has been a teacher to me. He has turned his life around and taught me how to rise up when you're knocked down, how not to let go on a dream, and how to forgive. And you have taught me that we all need a little support. And as we receive we should give to others. So in English I say, thank you, I appreciate your contribution. And in Italian I say, grazie mille, apprezzo molto il vostro aiuto. E in Mandarin I say, xie xie, 你们的帮助。
Now I'd like to call on Shannon Kidd.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shannon Kidd. At birth, I was 22 inches long, above the average length of a newborn. All the way through school, I continued to be above the average height of girls and boys my age. I slouched to hide my height and tried desperately to fit in. I did not want to stand tall. Although I'm an American citizen, I grew up on the island of Jamaica. I tried to fit in with the daily activities that my friends enjoyed, but they were not in my comfort zone. I enjoyed pulling things apart, putting them back together, and building things. They unfortunately did not. I recall one Saturday morning accompanying my mom to the mechanic. Her old car was wobbling. The mechanic told her the tires were out of alignment. As I watched, the mechanic removed the lug nuts, then he took off the lugs and jerked the tires until they were detached from the car. I was fascinated by the process and asked if I could remove the next one. He looked at me from my ankle up to my head, a rather long distance. He was obviously reminding me that I was a girl. As if to challenge me, he gave me the tools and stood back with his arms folded. It was my turn. Lugs off, nuts gone, tire removed. If we had mics to drop back then, I would have dropped the mic. I was in my element. I told my mom I wanted to be a mechanic when I grew up. She was disappointed. And soon the news spread throughout the whole family. Every opportunity they got, they reminded me of professions that were suitable for girls. Like the wheels of my mother's car, the profession I had selected as a girl was out of alignment with the norms of society. The things that excite me did not fascinate my peers, and I did not socialize very well. But I filled my world with things that I could pull apart and put back together, and also sharing on social media with people who lived in my world. This did not help my schoolwork, though. In my earlier years of high school, my grades were mediocre at best. This was a challenge, considering that the courses I had some interest toward the end of high school seemed to be set primarily apart for the boys who got the best grades. I managed to negotiate my way into taking pure and applied math and university physics 1 and 2. I surprised everyone when I did well. In 12th grade, I found a last name for my chosen profession. It was engineer. I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. Surely, that is what I thought my career needed for my family's acceptance. Not so fast, though. It was still not what a girl was supposed to be doing. Choosing a college when I returned to the United States was not difficult, but it was also not easy. I was admitted to some four-year colleges, but when I looked at my finances and the cost of tuition, I knew I could not afford them. Some of the best college advisors are graduates of four-year colleges who are saddled with student loans. My cousin is one of them. Every day he talks about how he will not pay off his student loans until after he's retired. So I was frankly scared straight to apply to a community college where tuition is affordable. Determined to follow my dream, I majored in engineering science at the Borough of Manhattan Community College. In my first semester, I was also invited to join a leadership program in the Office of Student Activities. Although I continued to be a somewhat reserved person, the leadership program gave me my voice and showed me many opportunities at the college and beyond. I joined the Science and Robotics Club, where no one cared if I was a girl, and where I pulled things apart and put them back together with like-minded students. For the first time in my life, I felt I didn't have to slouch. My classroom experience was equally rewarding. Before I take a class, I do what most students do. I go to the website ratemyprofessor.com and look at what my peers say about a professor. I looked for the name Professor Barbara Lawrence. There it was in uppercase. Do not. She will give you so much homework that you will have nightmares. Please have mercy on yourself. Do not take her class. Although I could hear the yelling of the uppercase, I kept reading. Another student wrote, Professor Lawrence is amazing. Her class is hard, her tests are hard, her homework is massively difficult. But if you get through it, you'll feel wholly accomplished. While some students may shy away from a professor like Barbara Lawrence, I was attracted to her style. She told us her story of being a woman of color in mathematics and made me love math even more. I just finished taking 3 math classes, Calculus 3, Linear Algebra, and Differential Equations. I got excellent grades in them. Much more than that, though, is how much my peers and I enjoyed the experience. I was also shocked to learn that BMCC students actually conducted research with BMCC's professors. I jumped on the opportunity. I have been conducting research on carbon nanotube reinforced epoxy with my mentor, Professor Ardebili. This technology could be utilized on aircraft wings and fuselage to determine if there's damage done and pinpoint with accuracy the location. The scholarship I received from the BMCC Foundation also helped me explore college life beyond taking classes. I put into action what I learned in my first semester in the leadership program and applied to serve as senator in the BMCC Student Government Association. I am sure we can all agree that this was a very, very interesting year for anyone to be involved in politics. I, along with my SJA colleagues, however, were able to advocate for the students at BMCC. This summer, I will graduate from BMCC, and in the fall, I'll attend Cornell University. You helped me stand tall, and you helped me reach new heights. That is because you gave me wings and made me fly. You touched my hands, I could touch the sky. I lost my faith, you gave it back to me. You said no star was out of reach. You stood by me and I stood tall. I had your help, I had it all. I'm grateful for each day you gave me. Maybe I don't know that much, but I know this much is true. I was blessed because I was helped by you.
I'd now like to introduce Claudia Charles.
When life deals you a hand, you can't return the cards and ask for the deck to be reshuffled. Win or lose, you must play that hand. My name is Claudia Charles, and I am making the best of the hand I was dealt, and you have played a major role in helping me do so. I attended high school in Germany, but when I was ready to attend college in the US, my high school credentials did not meet the requirements for me to do so. I needed to get the GED. I attended a program at Kingsborough Community College to receive it. After some research and my supervisor's recommendation, I decided to attend Borough of Manhattan Community College. It is closer to my job, the classes fit with my work schedule, and on top of that, it is located in the heart of Tribeca. It was always a dream of mine to attend college. I have a very hardworking family, but unfortunately, nobody went beyond a high school diploma. That's primarily because of financial reasons. I do not spend as much time on campus as some of my peers because I have to work. So I am one of those students who receive emails from the college informing me of many opportunities that are happening at BMCC, but cannot take advantage of them. Some of us just can't afford to do so. I want to be a nurse practitioner, and while there is a nursing program at BMCC, I have chosen to major in liberal arts and take classes in both courses, liberal arts and sciences. As BMCC students, we walk into the college and our classrooms with many issues, and the way we cope with them is by writing about them in papers, sharing our examples in class discussion, or simply staying silent. Our professors are more than teachers to us. They unearth our pain from our papers. They see the sadness in our eyes in our class discussions, and they have the uncanny ability to hear our silence. So, having no family in New York City, I need persons who are more than professors standing in front of me in a classroom. I need a caring human being. At BMCC, we can depend on our professors to help us deal with the hand life has dealt us. Professor Marcus, Professor Vega, and Professor Umark were three of the persons who understood my pain. Professor Marcus read about my problems and feelings in my psychology papers. Professor Vega was always there for me when I needed to talk. And Professor Umark helped me and encouraged me to not give up when life gets tough. My story is only one of many they hear each semester. My mother and father worked in a coal mine in Poland. They worked 12-hour shifts. My parents decided to move to Germany for a better life. It was not an easy decision, though, because as adults, they had to learn a new language. My mom's dream was to become a chemist. My younger brother, Kevin, has been severely epileptic since he was 2 years old. He's now 18, but has a hard time finding and keeping employment. He keeps trying, though. It is in our family's genes to work hard. I had migrated to the US, and on one Wednesday at around 3:30 p.m., I did the usual Skype with my family. This conversation was different. My 46-year-old mother was diagnosed with stomach cancer. I was so devastated that I could not be there for her because I was in the midst of getting my green card. She wanted me to stay in New York and do what other family members had not done, get an education. I Skyped with her as I looked at a face I was no longer recognizing. I tried to make up by not being there, by talking with her for hours, watching with her movies, and sometimes we even fell asleep together. At 6:05 a.m., 2 days after her 49th birthday, and 2 days before Mother's Day, my father called. Mom was no longer with us. Since my green card was not finalized, I could not leave the country. I was not there for my mother, and I was not there for my father either. But in her last days, my mom comforted me in making one of the most painful decisions I have ever made. I was not there when my family needed me the most. I have since visited her final resting place, but it does not lift the burden of not being there in that moment. As if this was not hard enough, during this difficult time, my dad went through a deep depression and had literally a broken heart. He had to have surgery and now has a pacemaker to mend it. So, I want to be a nurse practitioner where I can take care of mothers, leaving daughters behind, and mend broken hearts of fathers who have to take care of their sons. I want to make people well, comfortable, or simply being empathetic as I listen and care for others. This is the hand I was dealt, and some of the obstacles students like me have to overcome. My life story is not unusual at BMCC though, and sometimes I am happy for the one I have when I listen to others. So like a character in the movie The Revenant, our professors teach us that as long as you can still grab a breath, you fight. You breathe, keep breathing. When there is a storm and you stand in front of a tree, when you look at its branches, you swear it will fall. But when you watch the trunk, you'll see its stability. You know, I often hear that BMCC has an open admission policy, but I think it is more that they welcome students with open arms. So from up above, my mom wants to thank you for all your support. From the bottom of his broken heart, my father is very grateful. And from all the students who could not be here tonight and shared their stories, they would not be where they are without you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex, Shannon, and Claudia. Weren't they terrific? Yeah.